Hello viewers, Super GT here. Welcome along to another video. Thank you for joining me. So this video, okay, the basic idea here is I'm going to be starting at the back just for the lols. Let me tell you, you can really get some pretty hilarious races by starting in last. And I'm going to show you two examples throughout the course of this video. This one, the first one, at Goodwood in the Renault Clio. The next one, which is honestly one of the funniest races I've ever been part of, is the Suzuka race in Group 3. But first off, yes, we have this race in the Renault Clio. At Goodwood, I immediately drive off the track. Managed to overtake that guy though. And just behind, or off to the right-hand side, you might have seen on the radar a couple of people going wide. We've gone up into 8th, tugging into the slipstream with the guy ahead. Now this race is actually fairly okay for starting at the back because you're really helped by the slipstream and by the standing start, because when you have the rolling starts the whole grid actually spreads out quite a lot. So if you're last, you're already 10 seconds behind the leader at the start of the race, but here we're only 2.7 behind the leader. It makes it a lot easier, and it also makes it a lot easier by the fact that this race people are making a lot of mistakes. It's not an easy car to drive, and it's not an easy track. Goodwood is actually a very difficult track, I think, to hook up completely. We've already moved up into 6th place. Now, I normally finish in 6th, but we're already here on lap 1, and ideally I'd like to move another 5 positions up the grid, and then we'd win the race. Let's see if that's possible. Through the second to last corner, into the chicane, keep it in 3rd gear. Through here, this is where the race really does begin to pinch up, as the guy ahead of us there got a slow exit, just dived up his inside on the way out, up into 5th at the end of lap 1. 4 laps to go. This is looking pretty good here. Now, 2 things to look out for is the guy in 3rd with the penalty, and the guy in the lead goes a little bit too wide and spins himself out almost, loses loads of momentum. It's the Frenchman on the right hand side there, gone from the lead down to 4th. And I've gone 5th up to 3rd at the start of this lap. Looking up the inside of the Spaniard, not going to throw it up there, but just trying to put him off his line. He does go a little bit wide, as do I. And then just sweeping behind him into this left-hander. Got a British guy in the lead now who's going to look to pull away. So we've had the early sort of unsettled race. Usually in these races, the first lap is kind of fairly chaotic and messy, but then it will settle down as everyone gets a bit of a space and can just lap a little bit more normally. So yeah, at this point here, very settled, but we still have potential, especially with the slipstream, of course. When you're in the tow, especially on this kind of race here, it really does help a lot, and you're really going to have to use the slipstream to try to get past people. The leader goes very wide off onto the grass through the chicane. This is a very easy corner to get wrong, and most people running a little bit wide, as you can just carry the speed, and the grass doesn't really slow you down, but you do have to watch out for penalties, as the leader has just got one. Across the line with pretty much an identical lap to the Spaniard in front at 29.0 apiece. Through turn 1, difficult corner to get right, easy to go wide. We've kept it on the black stuff this time. By black stuff I mean light grey stuff. Okay, so the leader, the penalty, up into 2nd on lap 3, halfway into the race. Spaniard is going to go defensive. He's going to cover me off there. Yes, he is. Going to look for the move. It's not a good move. And if I'm honest, I was surprised to not get a penalty there, because we made contact. He went off the track. And the usual Gran Turismo Sport algorithm dictates that that would be a penalty. But thankfully, on this occasion, it wasn't the case. So we can live to fight another day here and try again. That wasn't the best move. It was a bit late. I'm going to try again. Go for this race victory from last. Yes, it wasn't the highest rated lobby. I will fully admit my sportsmanship was like in the 80s at this point, not in the 90s. He's going to go defensive to the right hand side. Is it possible to go around the outside? It looks as though it kind of is. It's a sweep around the left hand side. He's going to come back at me though. Fair play. He kept the power on. Into the chicane for the 3rd time. Goes very wide. Look at that. He's going to lose crucial momentum as he comes back onto the track, tuck into that slipstream again. Is he going to stay to the right? Yes, he is. We move left, cross the line to begin the 4th lap into turn 1, side by side. Are we going to get the position? Yes, he's actually backed out. He was fully alongside there. He could have gone for it, but he decided to back out on this occasion. Now this is the point of the race where you have to just really try and pull away as quickly as possible. He's not following me in the tow, and that's probably quite a big mistake. You really do need to maximise everything you possibly can. A lap later, the gap 0.9 as we come into this right-hander, braking on the edge of the tarmac on the right-hand side there, and then you just turn in pretty much at the same time. So the Spaniard kind of lurked there, but his mistake really was the fact that he wasn't following me in the slipstream for some reason. You'll see that as we come down this back straight. As you can always try to break the toe of the car behind. So I stayed to the right hand side here, and he didn't. You see he's not following me exactly, so he's not getting the benefit of the slipstream. And that's something he wasn't doing. And that might have been his downfall in this race, as without that, you're going to lose a couple of tenths per lap. Okay, so second to last corner, just a few corners left to negotiate, and then we've got ourselves a nice tidy victory from last, 11th to 1st. There we go, through the final corner. Sensational victory, sensational drive. Great stuff, Lewis. Well done.
Get in. There, Lewis.
Okay, there it is. Up 10 positions, 66 wins on Ram Shadow account. We move over to Suzuka. Now this is always going to be a tougher race, mainly again because of the field spread, as at the start of the race here, well, we see it when we cross the line, already 11 seconds behind the leader. 11. It's going to be a lot tougher. So we go past quite a few people here because, well, they're just spinning out, they're bottling it basically. This is where the race really unravelled. As we went up the inside here, I didn't want to go up the inside of the Mercedes, but there was just a last second break, and unfortunately I just nipped him wide. Got myself a nice 4-second penalty. Served it a lap later, went down a load of positions, and then in trying to catch up, I completely bottled it and made myself look very stupid. By the end of the race, still in 14th, make that 13th as that guy makes a mistake again. Finish 13th. Now this is an example of just how things can go quite badly when you're pushing too hard. I'm going to go again for another example. So starting 15th out of 16, so not quite last, but near enough. Someone with the instant bottle on the right hand side there. The insta-death. A shoddy overtake here past this guy. So this is a lower rated lobby. You might be able to tell that by the fact that everyone's crashing at every opportunity. Everyone's just driving off the track. Somehow goes through that guy. Thankfully, ghosts exist. Up the inside of this was the filthiest overtake I think I've done in a long time. Just completely shoved him wide. R4M Shadow. Back at it. I quit that race because I was just really fed up with the penalties. But this race was absolutely hilarious. This was brilliant from start to finish. Starting 16th, we are fully last. You can see my SR is A. So we've dropped right down the pecking order in terms of my sportsmanship. I've been ramming people wide, pushing them off the track. Utter filth from Ram Shadow. But it's time to redeem myself. The main thing here is try to have a clean race to try to get my sportsmanship rating back up. So no penalties, no contact with other cars, and try to make some positions up as well. Let's see if we can do that. Let me tell you, this one was a hilarious race. Immediately someone just drives straight off the track on the left hand side. So people immediately bottling it within milliseconds of the race beginning. So up behind this Turkish driver in the Toyota FT1. So I'm going to pull out to the right hand side, up the inside towards turn number 1. Let's get that radar up. Very important to have that radar on these lower rated lobbies. So through turn 2, into the S's. Viper quite slow, no way through the S's, as well it's really just a kind of one line section. Yellow flag overtaking prohibited. McLaren very wide off the track. Again another position, and it looks like the Czech driver around the corner just up there in the Beetle with a penalty and just recovering from some sort of slide. Viper goes very deep there. go past him. Mustang very wide. So these lower rated lobbies are kind of hilarious, as it's quite tricky as well to judge exactly what people are doing. He goes very wide, go past him. Some people brake really early, some people brake really late, some people don't have much awareness, so they can't see you when you're on the inside. There's so many things you have to worry about in these types of races, in these lobbies. You have to be extra careful. You have to really give people a lot of space, a lot of room, and you'll do a lot better that way by being very, very careful indeed. So coming up towards Spoon, this guy is going to serve his penalty at the end of the beginning of the next straight after Spoon corner. So at this point, 11.6 or 11.7 seconds behind the leader with only 4 laps. It's a very big gap. It's very difficult to reel in that kind of a distance. But as we've seen on this first lap, I've gained quite a few positions already. Mainly because people fight, they don't have much awareness. There's another yellow flag here. Someone driven themselves off the track or something. It's Bread Gone Bad. The rubbish spin-off of Breaking Bad has just spun off through Suzuka final chicane. So we end the first lap in 10th. Still more than 11 seconds off the lead, with 9 people in front of us to overtake. Not going to be easy, but it will be easy if they do that. Breaking Bad or Bread Gone Bad just drive himself straight off the circuit at turn 1. My recommendation for him is to press the brake pedal. It's actually quite useful. Pretty much mandatory in most races. So we move up into 9th. Still quite a long way off the lead. We're catching up with a very important person. Someone who, well, is going to lay down the gauntlet to another anime character in the Gran Turismo world. We've seen over the course of many months, many years, a great character called Mr. Wi-Fi Password. But in front of us here, we have a true rivalry to his throne. Just look at that name. Wi-Fi Password, the original Wi-Fi Password, has competition, serious competition, from Wi-Fi Password the second. The second coming of Wi-Fi Password has been spotted live at Suzuka 2019 colorized. Unbelievable stuff here. Unbelievable. Okay, into Spoon Corner. You see the group ahead of us. There's quite a lot of cars immediately in front. So with 2 laps to go, or more than 2 laps to go, there's still potential here to gain quite a few positions. We're already up into 9th. I've only gained 1 position on this lap, courtesy of Bread Gone Bad. He should really be called Brakes Gone Bad, as he just drove off the track forgetting to brake. So that's the only position I've gained on lap number 2. Down towards the chicane. And Wi-Fi Password the second goes flying up the inside for a big lunge. Smashes the Luxembourg drive, just tries to stop in the middle of the racing line. And I clatter into the back of him. So we gain that position there. Poor Luxembourg driver just getting absolutely abused. He's going to pull over to the right hand side there and just slow down. Perhaps he has a moral conscience and wants to let that guy pass, although it looks like he just wants to follow me instead. Okay, so lap 3, we are 3.4 or 3.3 seconds behind 6th place at this point. So this lap just needs to be a fast lap. There's no immediate interruptions in front of us. There's no one immediately in the way. So it's just a case of just putting in a fast lap. Just remember your training, basically. Oh, we do have someone going wide there, up into 6th place. But it's just really a case of just putting in a qualifying lap as close to your normal pace as you can. And around this kind of track here, around Suzuka, in this car, the Audi R8 should be able to do a 2 minutes flat or 1:59 if you've done well. And through Degner 2, we are getting closer, 2 seconds behind 5th place. And quite crucially here, guys, 4.8 behind the lead. Things are happening. Big things. Out of the hairpin. Bit of unsettling as we come out of there. As we wind round towards the Spoon Corner. And you look for this tarmac runoff on the right hand side. And that's going to be your braking point pretty much, or just before that tarmac, which is about 75 metres before the corner. So we come back for this second apex here at Spoon. Very difficult corner to judge. and you can use the curb there. You don't really want to use the green stuff too much as it can really unsettle the car. As this lap's been fairly good so far, we're going to see the third split here as we just come up to 130R, and it's purple, 0.9, nearly a second quicker than the purple lap of 201.8 set by MM Racing. Into the chicane, clattering over the curbs. You really do have to abuse the curbs there. So, end of lap 3, beginning of lap 4, the final lap. We are on the back of the leading pack, half a second away from 5th, 3.7 away from the lead. That was a 2 minutes flat, so kind of what I was looking for on that lap. Into turn 1, into turn 2. The Mercedes in front, a little bit wide, but he comes back, still in front. And here he's just going to whack on the indicator, pull over to the right hand side, and just wave me through. There you go, a Ram shadow. I don't want to be in front of you, I'd rather be your shadow. He's going to follow me for this lap. So he gained a position there, courtesy of Blingle. We move up into 5th. Can we get 4th? Is it possible to get the podium? 3rd place there in the Mustang is not far away. 1st and 2nd, 3 seconds away. It's looking unlikely as they race away through Degner 2. We're going to chase them a couple of seconds later. There's a yellow flag. Sommer, is off the circuit, the Danish guy. And the Spaniard in the lead gets a 2-second penalty. So by default now, the guy in the Mustang is going to be in the lead once that guy serves his penalty on the exit of Spoon. This race just hotted up immediately on this final lap. And this is something you'll see a lot in these lower rated lobbies. People they're not quite able to race as close. And you're often going to get a lot of crashes because people just crash into each other. They get penalties. The Spaniard up the inside of the Polish driver with a strong move through the second apex of Spoon. He's going to take the de facto lead now that the other Spaniard has served his penalty. Up into 3rd, we're on the podium. So this is good. Can we get the lead here? The Polish driver is not having any of it. Up the inside of 130R. He's going to nudge him wide. The Spaniard is off the circuit. And he's going to get himself a 4-second penalty coming up into the chicane. All I need to do here is just finish right behind him. And I'm going to win the race. Coming through the final corner, down towards the finish line. It's going to be a sensational 16th to 1st. It was a really funny race. And it really just completely unravelled for absolutely everyone on that final lap. It just really shows you too many people fighting too much, making too many mistakes, and I just didn't really do anything wrong. Just kind of threaded my way through nice and calmly and won the race. So really good fun. That I really actually enjoyed that race. Yes, it was against lower rated players, but sometimes it's still hard to fight your way through. You still have to make sure you don't make any mistakes, be careful, avoiding other people, don't make any contact. And we got the job done on this occasion. Sensational drive, get in there, Lewis. Miracles do happen, mate. But there we go. I do hope you've enjoyed the video as always. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, do consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. And I shall see you next time. Have a nice day, everyone. Goodbye.